Speaking of non-dominant hands, there's something really interesting happened yesterday. Is that, so Kara was painting, and she, we were going round and round. So don't look at this just yet. She's covering this area. It's still, the painting is still in formation. She took a trowel and she said, "To hell with it," And she took a red and she spread the red this way, and it went right across all the way over here. You see that?
Yeah.
So it opened the painting. It just wide open. So what happened now is that she wasn't going round and round anymore. She started to fidget with this and started to break these pieces up, and she began her deconstruction. And she continued then the deconstruction into here, and she started to deconstruct the iris, and she's continuing the process all the way along in a very methodical, gentle, heartfelt way. Everything in here has been placed in a very slow motion. Everything is like very attentive. And this is how she's working, but the result was fast, but the sort of like the nuance is like very careful. It's one step, it's new territory also. So you start to see that we're really getting into abstraction. And now, today, her work is going to be in breaking these up and making them connect to this, breaking this up, making it connect to this. And we had this big, gigantic flower here where the eye was coming right off. So I left last night to say, just put anything there, just anything. And then let's go back and rebalance, and that's what's going to be happening today. The entire thing, both of her paintings are being done with non-dominant hand. So it puts her in that position of like response and not thinking. Okay? So that starts to happen.
It's like you just have to surrender because you don't have control.
You have no control, exactly. You just have to surrender.
I would call that one sangria in the moonlight.
Yeah, okay. Of course, it's a good title, actually. But I mean, honestly, for a non-dominant hand, that's a lot of control right there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of control. And then it's going to be interesting now because this is going to take a lot of, just a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of decisions, but it all has to come from the heart. And that's when you really have to trust your process. You're like, okay, let me put that down. She doesn't have a guide here. Except the composition is going to be her only reference. She's going to have to check in every time with the composition and say, is the composition solid? Does it work? Where can I improve on it? And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that you're going to get into these realms which are a little more mystical and more abstract. It's like, how are you going to guide yourself? Like here you can see that there's actually something that is, we have a relationship to a flower. We can kind of make a determination that there's a bouquet, but we're starting to lose it here, and it's still very valid. Okay, if you look at the works of like Joan Mitchell, Cecily Brown, she does massive paintings that are that size, and they're in this zone and this type of area over here, and the composition is what you need. Right, so there could be like what I like about this is like right now there's like a context, there's a story within a story. Like this is its own story, and then this is its own story, and then at some point this story is going to meld with this story. And I can feel her going, okay, I'm going to try this brush stroke. I'm going to try and put this brush stroke. And it's a school, it's a school. It's like you're feeling your way through things. You're developing your instinct as a painter. Very valid, okay? When you get yourself into that space, you can't rely on anybody but yourself, right? Kara, how are you feeling about that? You seemed really excited last night. It was like...
It was tough going home.
It's tough, right?
It was hurt.
Yeah, why? Well, do you want to share, or...?
I felt like crap.
Why?
Oh, no.
Really? No. Why? Because you left something behind that was representational? And...
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I said to her with that lower right flower, I said, oh, this is really beautiful. She was, I'm covering it all up.
She's covering it up, yeah.
I'm like,
She had
okay,
to. Well, she
do
had
it.
to. Yeah.
The right upper right side is just brilliant.
But she's coming in now and she's taking all of this and carrying it all forward, and she's going to break this down to this.
Yeah.
And then, you see what I'm saying? And then, trust me, it's going to live in a way that we're only starting to see the beginning of something here.
I feel like it has a strong story to it.
It does.
We don't know what it is, but
Right.
I can feel it.
Yeah, exactly. You can feel it. And so, you don't know what it is, you're going to look at it. And always, I kind of always put it in the context of being in a museum. I'll look at the painting and I'll be like, how don't know what it is about that, but man, is that strong.
Yeah.
Man, do I feel that.
She's also the only one that's dealing with a really dark background.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about that, and she wanted the dark background.
It makes me feel like water.
Mhm.
I feel like water and a reflection down on.
Very powerful. There's a lot of strength in here.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is to be looked at and to be acknowledged and to accept it. What she did here, she killed this. It was a big distraction. But, you know, today it's like, let's turn this baby around, and then let's turn this baby around. This is what it's going to be all about.
Oh, wow.
That's
So we're gonna continuously balance all the time. And this is, yep.
Well, I don't know Cara that well, but you talk about painting from the heart, and this painting, more than any of the others here, it seems to speak of her. There's a quiet confidence.
Force.
There's, she's a quiet, confident person. Things come together in a quiet, methodical way without jumping. And then there are these, when she finishes, these flashes of really interesting, good stuff, like you're seeing with those colors and this work in progress. And it just, that really does, I think, reflect who she is.
And that's the truth of it, isn't it? Is that when you start to paint from your heart, you can't deny what's here. Sometimes it's a tough moment because, you know, we've kept it bottled up inside for a long time, and then you start to see it and you're like, oh boy. All right, so the journey begins, you know, the real journey begins, but it's gonna be fun. It's heart-wrenching in the beginning, it is. It's like you're facing yourself there. You're like, oof, yeah.
I feel that depth somewhere and almost some sadness, but
That's
you know,
fine.
you can just feel like
It's all gonna come out.
yeah, the feeling.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about yesterday. I said that if you're feeling sad, paint your sadness. If you're feeling happy, paint your happiness.
Yeah.
And whatever is in there, use this as a tool. You know, you're gonna journal stuff in your journal. There it is. There it is. But it's beautiful. I mean, there's just such a beauty to it, and it's an emotional beauty that's coming forward.
It really reminds me of the Salvador Dali show I just saw in Chicago.
Yeah.
It just has somehow those layers of emotion.
Right. Right. Did you see how everybody's moved in here? By looking at this, it's not completed, but it's like, wow. Okay, this is a small painting, but
A lot of pressure here. Beautiful.
24 by 24. I mean,
Beautiful, yeah.
Put it to the room.
Yeah, look at the blue line that wiggles like this, and then there, and then comes back down here, and it goes into there, just like,
Yeah.
I feel like she's,
Keep going, Carol.
yeah, she is stepping out in faith and just
Yeah.
doing it.
Like squeezing the freedom out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As hard as it is, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. We just we haven't tackled that. And then when this started to happen yesterday, I'm like, let's look at this for a second. Because she came to me. She said, I kind of had a fuck up moment with this painting. Go show me. And I looked at her and go, oh yeah, that's fucking brilliant. Let's move it in. She's going, really? I'm like, yeah. So I'm gonna leave it probably like this for today. And Carol, you decide afterwards how you want to take it. But this is what I like about art. I mean, look at the power of what it does to us.